Welcome to my channel today. My name is Kate, and child. I wrote a book some time ago. I'm an author, and my book is about the child. So when I wrote this book, I was looking at the girl child, and I still continue to do so. I still continue to support the girl child whenever I can. And I still believe in the girl child can be amazing. The girl child supported by people or the community, it will be a good thing to do to the girl child. So today, I have something that I really need to ask the women, especially in my circle, because I've had a lot of them go through a lot in disarray and then they disappear somehow without noticing things the other way around. I don't want to call it wrong because at times it's the circumstances that puts them in that situation and then they don't know how to react to it. So my question was, would you risk your life, or would you hate someone, or even getting to a point whereby you would maim someone simply because the relationship has gone sour? Or would you really drive yourself to a point of probably damaging property? On top of it, probably damaging yourself, go to self-harm, simply because in the relationship, it's not working. There's no more affection in this relationship. So you'd rather do something which is unthinkable. So many times I've had women and men also do the same thing. They normally will venture into fist fights. They will probably hate someone. They would even use acid. We've seen women getting hit with acid, also with the man as well. So tonight, I just thought of this, and I'm asking myself, would you go an extra mile to hate someone simply because there's no more affectionate between you, or just because your other half has found another better half, or a side chick, or a Ben-10, we call them, those young men? Maybe you are in a relationship, but then things are not working. The one thing that people always forget to talk about is they forget that the relationship can become sour sometimes. Yeah? When the relationship becomes sour, then are we supposed to continue? Because let's not forget, in the relationship, you'll be having children. And once you stay in a toxic relationship, what happens is you are going to pass it on to your children. And when you pass this on to your children, what becomes of that child is trauma and bitterness at the end of the day. Because the child will end up not understanding what that was all about. Meanwhile, you as parents, you think you are doing the right thing. But at the end of the day, the one person that is hated between this relationship is your child. So I did find out that is it not a good thing that when you get to a point whereby you do not understand what is going on in your relationship, is rather a good thing that you take sides, either just to get out of that relationship and start to think, is this what you want to go through with? A lot of us women, I've realized, we will stay in this relationship as much as I can, simply because I'm thinking, if I leave today, what is going to happen to my kids? If I leave today, where am I going to go? If I leave today, what will happen to me tomorrow and my children? Do you know what? A lot of us have been through this. I was through such a situation where I ended up sleeping in the streets. But today I talk about it as a story. But that was part of my history. That was part of how I wrote a book, because I realized where I came from and how I managed to walk that journey to where I am today. So it's not rocket science that you can come out of a toxic relationship and start again and become who you really want to become. You need to stay focused. There's one thing that happens in families, in our parents as well. So many times you'd ask a parent to say, okay, your child is getting married, or she's now at a point where she needs to be assisted or be told what to do, or just to be like an advisor that the child is getting married. So now that the child is getting married, what would you tell your child? Whether it's a father or it's the mother, they will fail to say anything, because that child has been in that relationship where these parents never used to agree, and they used to fight backwards and forward. And for the sake of their children, the mother probably stayed in this relationship which was abusive, but she managed to stay on until the children grow up. So at the end of it all, that is a humble mother who would have stayed the course and stay in this relationship no matter how hard it was, probably being beaten each time something has gone wrong, or if she doesn't bring food on the table, as if she's the one who is supposed to go and fetch food for the family. Many times the mother would be in trouble. That is many times. Of course, I do understand that even fathers as well, they did go through a lot of trauma with women. Women can be very, very abusive in relationships, and it's their children who actually take that trauma. And mind you, at the end of the day, the child who has come through this family with such a background, the child, in many times, if she doesn't recognize who she is, that she's not her parent, she will continue in this cycle. She will get married probably to a good man, but because she doesn't understand how to treat her husband well, because she saw her mother ill-treating the father, so she'll continue in that cycle until the fourth generation, as the Bible says, because it becomes a curse. So today I'm talking to someone, especially to the girl child, and even the boy child as well. I know when I speak of the girl child, it really fills my heart, because that is who I am. But also as a mother of the boy child, I also want to make sure that I also pass this message still to the boy child, that if you've at any point, at any given time, you find yourself in a situation where you are not managing to go through, there's no longer any affection between the two of you, feel free to say, you know what, my friend, we were once good friends, but I don't think I deserve to go through this. And then move out of that relationship, because it will cause a lot of trauma and bitterness in you for the rest of your life. A marriage is not supposed to be an enduring marriage. A marriage is supposed to be a happy relationship whereby you remain friends through your marriage. Of course, there are a lot of things that will happen. Of course, there will be a lot of discomfort sometimes. But if it is a question of two people understanding each other, the marriage will continue to go. And you get to a point whereby you become grandparents. And then you probably, one of you dies, and then, this is the end of the marriage. But a lot of the marriages that we see today, they do divorce at the early stages. And as a mother, what have I been noticing? I've been noticing this in our culture, especially when I speak of the Zimbabwean culture, because that's where I come from. I'm from Zimbabwe. Our men were taught to be the hierarchies, the princes, those ones who are not touched. Whatever he says, the wife should listen. Even when he is supposed to fend for the children himself and put value to the wife that he has found, he will simply put that woman into trauma. as I said, there were fathers who actually were put in that position as well. But a lot of it has been through the men themselves. They forget who they are. They think, well, if I cheat, if I have a side chick today, does it matter? I'm a man. I can marry as many women as I want. So because of that kind of mind in them, all they've realized is they can marry as many women as they want. They can take as many girls as they want. They can cheat with any girl as they want the woman. Even at work, men would probably propose women who come to work. If he's a boss there, he just thinks any girl who comes through his office should be someone who she has got to abuse. So a lot of these things happen because men don't have the slightest idea of respecting themselves. I've always said, if a man decides that a side chick is better than me, I would rather walk away. But you do not walk away until it's too late. I was in that position, and by the time I left, I had 4 children. Because I kept thinking he would change. He would change. Probably next time he would change. But he kept doing the same thing. And by the time I left, I had 4 children. So a lot of us women, we fail to grasp the idea that you are not alone in this. A lot of us women we've gone through this. So you don't ever feel that you are on your own, or you are just the first person we've actually divorced, or you are the first person we've embarrassed your family. Because why your family didn't support you or tell you anything before you left into this marriage, the idea is they were in the same position. Your mother also went through that kind of abuse, and it was like, okay, this is how marriage is supposed to be. And do you know what? They even go to a point where they would say, oh, if a husband doesn't beat you, he doesn't love you. Or if a husband doesn't scream on you or nag you or something like that, he doesn't love you. He's proving that he loves you. And if you dress somehow, he found you a little girl dressing up nicely, putting up your makeup and putting up your lipstick and even wearing nice wigs or hair, but since he got married to you, he would really put you in a situation whereby you are going to be struggling right through. So for that reason, would you, as a woman or as a man, go an extra mile to hate someone or to hate yourself? By hating, I mean, we've seen a lot of people doing self-harm. We've seen a lot of people harming other people. We've seen people even getting to a point whereby someone is killed, and in the end, it starts being a criminal case, and then you end up into the prison and everything. Would you go that extra mile simply because your wife or your husband has found a side chick? Would you really see it fit that you can go and fight a side chick because your husband is going out with that side chick? I really think as women, we need to look at ourselves first and ask yourself, I'm this beautiful. This is me. Get to know who you are first and put value in what you believe as a woman. Once you know that you are beautiful and you can do anything, you can go the extra mile to be a better person and to love yourself more, you will not get to a point whereby you'll have to go and fight a side chick or even go to harm a side chick because your husband has gone out with a side chick. Or if you are a man, you would actually respect yourself as a man and look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what is it that I want? What is my wife looked at me and decided I'm not enough? Well, if that happens, then you as a man feel free as well to say, look here, my dear, we had good times together and we had bad times together. But this time I think it's time to say goodbye. So it is okay for you to say hello. And then if things doesn't work up, there's time to go, depart, when things are not in a bad situation where you have to end up in prison or you have to end up hating someone or maiming someone simply because there's no love between you. Believe me, love is something that will end if it's not meant to be. And if your man is not respecting this marriage, there's no reason why you should respect it as well. Because love is for two people. If your wife is not respecting your marriage, just find your way, find your door, and get out of that situation. Because she has found out that you are not worth the person that she would want to stay with. There's no point in getting to a point where you live in a marriage which is abusive, where there's toxic every day, where there's nagging every day, where there's no respect every day, where the other person just does whatever he or she thinks she can do without considering that you are there. The one thing that I would like to leave today is make sure before you get into a marriage or into a relationship that is a serious relationship, make sure that, make note of this, put boundaries. Someone would ask me, what boundary? A boundary, as I want to explain it to you, is a boundary is something that you, if you are going to scribble it down and give it to your relationship the other person, you better do that. Because I've seen women being beaten by their boyfriends before even they get married. And I always looked at them and said, why? What happened? Why did that man beat this woman? Why were you beaten? Oh, because I was wrong. And I've heard this even with married people, married couples. They also tell you that I was wrong. So because I was wrong, my husband was right. Even if it was abusive. It's because there's no boundary there. Before you go into this relationship, you must make it known to him or her that he or she doesn't abuse you and touch your body and beat you up. And there are a lot of men also, they are the first ones who will control a woman so much that they will call 2 minutes, there's a call, 5 minutes, there's a call, 20 minutes, there's a call, 1 hour, there's an hour, there's a call. If you don't answer, I called you, you didn't pick up. Talk to me. The moment you find you are in such a relationship with someone, put a boundary that he understands, that he doesn't call you every minute. You've got a life to live. Tell your better half, I do have some things that I need to attend to. So that as much as you go into the affair and get married to this person understands that he doesn't call you anytime simply because he wants to just call you and say, hi, I was just checking on you. 2 minutes, hi, I was checking on you. Who are you talking with? I saw you with a man standing there. What were you doing? Hell, no. You don't live in a world where there are no other people to talk to. And even in a point whereby you met someone who wants to talk to you, of course, you are not tied to that man. Even if you've got a ring, you have got your mind to think, do I really respect my marriage or no? And if he must or she must allow you to decide, that's a boundary. And if you do not do that, the moment you let someone control you to that point, what happens is you've seen other girls being killed because I gave you money. But he has forgotten one thing. Was he not having the sweet cake from you? So why was he giving you that money? What was it for? Was he looked after you because he was having and eating the cake? So if he was, how come he now comes to claim that I was giving him money? Now he starts calling you by names. What about him? What was he doing with you? So these are the things that we need to put into place. They seem little, they seem small, they seem like they don't mean anything. But I tell you what, if you tell someone, please, you call me, if I don't answer the phone, I'll call you back. It doesn't matter what time you are going to call him. What you have been doing is up to you. That was up to you. That was your time. You have other things to attend to, not to him. So if you are not going to put that boundary, the next thing is he will clap you, or he will kick you, or he will start asking you questions which are not necessary in a relationship. Anybody who starts controlling you, it can be your boyfriend, your husband, it's wrong, because everybody has got 24 hours to live and survive in a way she or he feels free to survive. Marriage is not something that you are going into prison. Even those in prison, they have time to write. We have seen some of them coming out with degrees. So it mustn't be a prison just because you are married to that man. It should be some marriage that you have got to enjoy, the two of you. So for today, I think I'll leave it here, and I'll be carrying on with this topic as we go through. And thank you. Please subscribe to my channel as I go through the girl child, and this is my page. Never know,